Deep breath. Okay, I can do this. I'm a professional. I can do this. Here we go. Let's pop this new Black AF page on the screen. Maximum effort. I can do this. Coming to a comic book series. Nope. The struggle is real. So real. And so is this page. This is real. 100% real. This is from the upcoming Black as Fuck Devils Die miniseries. Just drink it in. You know, I try to be nice. I do. I really do. But come on. Come on. Who looked at these pages and went, print that? I'll tell you. Kwanzo Sajefo. He's the co-creator of Black, the comic book series where he and fellow creators Tim Smith, I use the number 3 because I watched Armitage too many times, Claire Huxtable aka Jamal Igle, ghetto attorney at law, imagine what it would have been like if only black people had powers, and proceed to create the most stereotypical, half-assed, ill-conceived, racist comic book universe imaginable, until Border Town. Even white nationalists would be like, dude, tone it down. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a character named Jigaboo. That's all I'm saying. So Fake Holiday had a pretty successful Kickstarter that let him finish the first series, which he still hasn't fulfilled even though the book was released in single issues and twice in trades over a year ago. Mfufu also managed to get the series option for a film, but that too was about a year ago and is still probably sitting in development hell. The deal was announced around the time the first 2 tie-in series were announced, Black AF America's Sweetheart, supposedly a young adult comic, and Black AF Widows and Orphans. AF, by the way, stands for As Fuck, which is exactly what you want to see on the young adult comic. I haven't read America's Sweetheart, but I did read the first issue of Widows and Orphans, and it was bad. It had the same narrative problems as the original Black series. No real structure, no explanations, and zero character development. The one thing it had going for it is that the art was okay. With America's Sweetheart, the art was actually pretty damn good, even though the main female character looked like a boy. But Devils Die? Yeah, this art is bad. I can't sugarcoat it. It's just bad. Objectively bad. I mean, look at this panel. This is supposed to be LA, Los Angeles. Do you not have access to the internet or a library or a TV? How hard is it to find a picture of the LA skyline and draw it? You could have done it Batman the Animated Series style and had a couple of buildings in perspective and the rest flat, and that would have been fine. You had a whole panel to work with, and this was all you could do. Now look, I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on this artist, Liana Kangas, because everybody starts off bad at drawing. Go and look at your favorite artist. They all sucked when they started. Check out their first comics. They're probably not that good. I mean, they're still better than this art, but compared to where guys like Jim Lee, Humberto Ramos, and Joe Mad are today, their early work is probably something they'd want to burn so no one else could ever see it. We all start off like this. With some time and patience and practice, a metric fuck ton of practice, Liana could become a powerhouse. But right now, she's not, and even Stevie Wonder can see that. So why did y'all hire her for this book? Seriously, why did you hire someone who wasn't ready? It's a fair question since Fake Holiday and Ghetto Attorney have been trashing Diversity in Comics' Ironside comic online. Jamal Igle in particular went on some pissy Twitter rant throwing shade at the artist by Canales, saying that the dude's art was so bad that Igle didn't think he could even review it. DNC defended Canales in his video about the new Black comic, saying that Canales had the style he was looking for. Canales' style is probably not going to appeal to everyone. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. That's fair criticism. From what I've seen, it's a good mid-range art style with a few flaws. Nothing that makes it terrible. But you wouldn't know that if you listen to the SJW pros. They've been tripping over themselves to trash Ironsides, and it's obvious most of them haven't read the book. Just seen random pages and decided that since they hate DNC, they're gonna trash the art. Meanwhile, they give a pass to artists like Erica Henderson, someone who can actually draw very well, but dialed down her skill to a comically bad level that just kept getting worse. Either she couldn't handle the comic book schedule, which is weird since that was the only thing she was doing, or she knew Marvel would publish whatever she turned in, or both. Either way, her work on Squirrel Girl is objectively bad, and she seemed to have no interest in fixing it. Canales, on the other hand, redrew pages, fixed errors, and basically did the best he could do on Ironsides, and what he did wasn't bad. But the art for Devils Die? Ooh boy. Even when I take off my glasses, I can still see the art is terrible and I can barely see 3 inches in front of my face. Here's the thing. Jamal Igle bragged about how he's taught art classes and has all this experience. So why didn't you work with Liana before y'all set out to publish this book? You can see she's not ready. It's obvious. Painfully obvious. So why would you put her out there without trying to help her improve? What a shitty thing to do. You know someone's not up to the task, let them do it anyway and just pretend like it's good when you know it's not. You know you're all a bunch of assholes for doing that, right? Just a total carload full of assholes. But not as much as me, because I'm about to talk about these 5 pages. Because oh my god, it's like we're inside Ezra Miller's head. So how I found out about this book is someone sent me the link for this article on Paste. The article says, a brand new Black AF miniseries by breakout star Vita Ayala and your next favorite artist Liana Kangas. Let's stop right there. Ayala is not a breakout star. She gets work because she's a black lesbian. I've read her work, it's really not that good. But no one would dare say that because they'd be accused of racism and homophobia, so her mostly subpar writing gets a pass. Let's continue. When a new drug called Vanta hits the streets, word is it's the hottest thing since ecstasy. For regular people, it has all the highs and none of the lows of traditional drugs. There is some fine print, however. For empowered black folks, the drug causes a total and violent loss of control. So, drugs make black folks violent. That's racist. This seems to be a running theme with the Black series. All the motivating plot elements come off as racist. I'm not talking about the characters' actions in the story, I mean just the general plot. I get that Fake Holiday is probably trying to play off tropes about crackheads, but it's so poorly presented it looks more racist than the trope it's based on. Moving on. The project sends Indigo to investigate, and it soon becomes apparent that this is more than just a new designer distraction for the masses. So the drug is designed to make superpowered black people crazy or something to that effect. How? These folks have only been in public for what, about a year? Their powers are all different, right? Do you people know how their powers work, right? How the hell would this work? Is this going to be another one of those someone's experimented on superpowered black people thing? This is 3 times now. You realize that, right? Do you have no other ideas, Kwanzaa? That's a rhetorical question, I know you don't. Finally, Indigo, together with former detective Ellen Waters, race to find the source of the substance poisoning their people before it's too late. The superhero universe where only black people have superpowers continues to expand, for the first time with a new creative team building onto the exciting world created by Fake Holiday, wannabe third type, ghetto attorney, and literally who. If by expand you mean swell up like an Italian woman after 3 kids, yeah, you're right. Right off the bat, the preview pages undermine the preview synopsis. We're told in the synopsis that Vanta has no side effects for normies, but in the preview pages we're told the side effects include confusion, loss of time, headaches, and dry mouth. So which is it, Ayala, since you're the one actually writing this thing? No side effects or what happens when black folks try to eat English food? So, Discount Aaliyah goes to get drugs, and we get this ridiculous scene where Childish Gambino begs for drugs from John Leguizamo. Discount Aaliyah asks for some too, John tries to bone her, but she's got the cash to pay for the pills. Then Childish Gambino attacks her for the pills, pops them, and all hell breaks loose. I think. I'm not really sure because I can't tell what the hell is going on because the art is so bad. First off, it's not clear what anyone's powers are. Childish Gambino might have powers, it's not really clear. We get this random panel of him with a white man, a devil, glowing behind him, and then John Leguizamo gets clocked with a pack of travel-sized maxi pads. Why? Where did that come from? Who's got period pads just lying about their apartment, waiting to hit people in the head? I don't know. Then we got Discount Aaliyah who has this weird looking shadow around her. At first I thought this was the artist making a very weird shadowing choice because we see the same effect behind Childish Gambino. It looks like a poorly drawn shadow or splotch or just something to fill up the space. But then it turns out to be Discount Aaliyah's powers, which she uses to stop whatever Childish Gambino is supposedly doing by going full on Catholic priest mode. Now, just a quick point here. This is supposed to be a shadow or something like that. I can think of 3 characters off the top of my head, Umbra, Shikamaru, and Pride. All you have to do to show off their powers is draw masses of black. It's so easy you could do it on accident and still get it right, yet Liana still made a mess of it. Seriously, who looked at this panel and went, yeah, that looks right? Where are your editors? Wait, I forgot, this is Black Mask. But did no one else working on this book look at this at all before it went to print? I mean, someone colored this. Did they not see how ridiculous this looks? Really? So having been buggered by Shadow McGrabbyhands, Childish Gambino cries spooge from his eyes, and we find out John Leguizamo is actually a Klingon. And since nothing in these 5 pages makes a lick of sense, we really don't have a clue what this story is actually supposed to be about. The premise isn't even hard to pull off. Most crime dramas start off with this kind of scene where a crime happens and needs to be solved over the course of the story. The problem here, besides the forced cursing and terrible art, is that the entire thing hinges on people knowing the general premise behind this universe. That means you'd at least have to have read the original Black series to know the most basic info about this world. You'd probably need to read the other 2 spin-offs as well to try to figure out how the world reacted to people having powers, not that it helped. There's been less world building in the nearly dozen issues of this overall series than there have in the first page of My Hero Academia. That's how badly written this series has been. It's just a mess. Just a series of scenes meant to get to the one where the writer, usually Kwanzaa, can preach about the evils of white folks and call people Uncle Toms, even though the entire premise of his idea reads like a white nationalist fever dream. Maybe if there was an editor actually editing the stories or a competent writer, actual writer writing the stories, it wouldn't be this massive clusterfuck of shitty storytelling, bad decisions, and zero character development. Of course, then it wouldn't be a Black Mask book. But what do I know? I'm just some guy. By the way, Kwanzaa, I'm going to review every book you put out since you want to fuck with people's channels. We'll see how much you can keep up, Sugar Plum.